Good morning, everybody. You may notice behind me I have a chair. So we're going to start today sitting in a chair. So if you have a chair, you want to grab it, now's the time to do that. Or if you want to perhaps sit at the edge of your bed, that would probably work too, depending on how high your bed is. So go ahead and grab a chair, and we'll get started in just a moment. I'm in my short shorts today, so I'm ready. Let's see here. Good morning, Tess. Okay, so I wanted to start today. I was thinking about things, and good morning, Miss Sarah. I was thinking about how much of my life now is spent sitting, sitting, looking at my computer, and so I guess the opposite would be interesting too, to not sit in a chair to warm up, to doing the opposite, since today I'll be sitting a lot of the day. And but I thought, probably a lot of you out there are also sitting at your computer, perhaps hunched over this way, or sort of sinking down into your couch like I've been. So I thought it would be interesting to do a warm-up sitting in a chair. And for some of us, maybe this is all we have. We don't have a lot of room to move around, or can't get up a lot during the day because we're stuck on video calls. Or good morning, Susanna. So I think we can get a pretty good warm up seated. So we'll start here. We may come to standing. We'll see how it goes. So find a chair. If you are just joining, we're going to be sitting in a chair here. If you can't tell, I'm sitting in a hard chair, hard back chair. So the first thing to do is, now I have short legs, so I'm going to sit more forward in the chair here. But if you have longer legs, you can sit further back. But you want to find a place where you can feel your feet flat on the floor, and you can feel the support of the floor underneath your feet. You can let your lower leg bones come straight up out of your feet, so perpendicular to your feet. You can feel your knees on top of that. You can feel your thigh bones at right angles to your knees. You can feel your sit bones in the chair. And this is also why I'm sitting a bit more forward, because this chair slopes down a bit. So if I were to sit back, the tendency would be to drop down a bit. Good morning, Lisa. Good morning, Ryan. So you want to feel your sits bones in the chair and really feel the support of the chair here. And then let your spine come straight up out of your sits bones, so coming up out of the chair. So you can picture the tailbone, the sacrum, picture the lumbar spine coming up, each one of those vertebrae floating on top of the other. You might notice the gentle curve. And then picture your thoracic spine, so that's the spine of the rib cage. Picture that floating up. And I'm feeling even more levity here than I did a moment ago. So I'm really picturing each one of those vertebrae floating as if maybe there's a little pillow of air between each one of those bones. And then I'm thinking now into my ribs. Actually, I'm thinking into my ribs, and they're floating as well. And the ribs come around to the front. The sternum rests on the ribs, the rib cage. And now I'm thinking up into what we often call the bull vertebra, which is that big vertebra at the base of the neck. And then I'm thinking out across my shoulder girdle to my shoulders, down my upper arm bones, to my elbows, to my forearms, to my wrists, to the hands and to the fingers. And you can choose, you can let your arms for now either just be hanging at your sides if that feels comfortable. And we'll do that in a moment, but for right now, I'm just letting my hands rest on my thighs, on my legs. And the reason for that is if I bring them into the middle here, you can try this. You may notice that your chest, your upper chest, might collapse a little bit. So to open that space up, I'm just letting my hands just gently rest on my legs, on my thighs. And now I'm going to think back up my arms. And now think back up into your shoulders, to your shoulder girdle, to the bull vertebra at the base of your neck. And think up your neck spine. Picture those 7 cervical vertebrae. And again, perhaps you can think of a little pillow of air between each one of those 7 vertebrae, so you can get a little bit more levity, a little bit more float. And again, you might notice that there's a curve there, which is in the same direction as your lumbar spine, the lower spine. But for all intents and purposes now, we're thinking that the neck spine is floating straight up, and the skull is floating on top of the neck spine. And maybe even at that topmost vertebra, the atlas vertebra, there's another pillow of air, and the skull is floating on top of it. So we're not, like often happens to me during the day sitting at my computer, sinking down like this. We're letting it collapse, but we're really letting that lift happen, that levity. And Atlas was the god who held up the world in Greek mythology, so we might imagine that this is holding up the globe of our skulls. So take a moment here, feeling the top of your skull, and then bringing your attention back down to the soles of your feet on the floor. Feel your body now in the chair. And just take a moment to notice if there's any part of you that's collapsed, any part of you that wants to sink into gravity, and encourage that part of you to find a bit more levity, a bit more uprightness, so you can be an upright citizen of the world today. Now, as a way, last week we did the patting down of the skin and the yawning and the stretching, which I enjoy quite a bit. We're going to do a little bit more gentle TLC for our body. So bring your left arm out and look down the length of your left arm. And with your other hand, as though you were caressing, petting your favorite animal, begin to rub the skin of that arm. Lovingly. Again, it's as though you're saying hello to your favorite dog or your cat, if your cat likes this. You never know with cats. Each finger gets a gentle caress. And then going back up the arm, and I'm just turning the arm over as I need to. And it's really giving love to your arm. It's a loving pet, a loving caress. And then let that go. And feel the difference between your two arms. Maybe putting words to what that feels like for you. It feels, my arm feels. And then coming to do the same thing on the other arm. And if you want to, because we are saying hello to our arms, you could even say, "Good morning, arm." Ask it how it is. How are you today? So that you really start to come into a conversation with your body. Good morning, fingers. Might feel silly to do that. Because how in the world could the arm answer back? Well, if you begin to really listen to your arm, you may notice that it's speaking to you in a way. That the arm is responding to the TLC that you are giving it. And when you've done that to your liking, let that arm drop and notice what the conversation with your arms has done for you, how that feels. And let's come down to the leg. So we're going to come down to the leg. And I'm going to pick mine up. You don't have to pick it up, just so you can see. And begin to lovingly caress one of your legs. Good morning, leg. How are you feeling today? All right, so you can actually have a conversation if you choose to. If that feels a little insane at 8:19 in the morning, at least Eastern time, then you do whatever it is that allows you to have this loving, intimate conversation with your leg. And picking up your sits bones a bit to get into the buttock. And when you've done that to your liking, let that go and feel that leg and see how that feels. Maybe that feels a bit more awake, a bit more alert. And then we're going to come to the other leg. Now, you can get really fancy here. And if you really think of it like a family dog, you can talk to it like you would talk to a dog, Oh, you're such a good boy. Oh, yes. Oh, that's such a good calf, right? You can really be fancy with this. Right, so feel free to have the conversation that you want to have with your leg. There you go. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it's softening and releasing. You've done that to your liking. Let that go and see how that feels. And then coming across your chest, warming up. A loving caress, a loving pet. There you're saying good morning to your torso. Good morning, shoulders. Good morning, side ribs. And then when you've done that to your liking, let that go. And then coming up to the skull. Now, if you may want to wash your hands, but bring your fingers to the skull and let your fingertips gently pet the top of your skull. And you're coming down across the forehead. Coming down along the jaw. You can use the fronts of your hands or the backs of your hands. Letting the ears get some TLC as well. Coming down to the neck. And then when you've done that to your liking, you can let that go and see how that feels now. So take a moment now to take stock of your entire body, having been in a conversation with it through these loving caresses. Still feeling that long spine, still feeling your sits bones on the chair, your feet supported by the floor underneath you. The chair supporting your pelvis, and the floor is supporting the chair. And so that support comes all the way up through your spine. Go ahead and lick your lips. Give them a smack. Blow through them. Turn your attention now to your breath. With lips softly parted. Feeling the breath come in and out through your mouth. Letting the muscles of the belly soften. So the breath can come in and out easily. Paying attention for a few moments to your natural breath rhythm. Now let your arms drop to the sides, still paying attention to that natural breath rhythm. So the arms drop to the outside of the thighs. And rotate your elbows forward. Still paying attention to your breath. And you may notice that your partner or husband is leaving and you'll wish them well. And then you'll float your elbows up and in front of you. Still being in touch with your breath. Float your wrists up. And float your fingertips up. Giving yourself a little stretch through one arm. Stretch up through the other arm. Still letting your breath come in and out, making sure you're not holding the breath. And now, still have a long spine, shoulders dropped. As you let your hands drop, let a little sigh of relief fall out with your hands. As you let your wrists drop, let a medium sigh of relief on breath drop out as well. And as you let your arms drop to the outsides of your legs, let a large sigh of relief of breath drop out. And then let your head drop forward and let a little sigh of breath drop out with it. And here's where you want to make sure that you're sitting really forward in your chair and that your arms are dropping to the outside of your legs. As you start to drop down your spine bit by bit, letting the breath drop out and come in as it wants to. Your arms fall to the outside, your head takes you down, 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 down through your legs until you're hanging more or less from your tailbone. Your sits bones are still in the chair, but you've dropped down through your spine. I'm feeling an impulse to grip in the inner creases of my hip sockets, so I'm sending a message to that area to release and relax. And that actually gets me to drop a bit more. Bring your hands to your back ribs and give your sacral area a little scrub, so actually a little lower than the ribs. A little scrub if you can reach. If you can't, no big deal. A little scrub, scrub, scrub with your hands. A gentle thump, thump, thump with either loose fists or with your palms, whatever you can. Maybe it's a slap. And then if you can reach, and if this makes sense in your body, bring your hands to your back ribs, your back bottom ribs, and feed in and let go of a deep down sigh of relief on breath. What's nice here is you can really feel how breath is moving the torso in 3 dimensions. So the belly moves, the back ribs move, the side ribs move. One more time, feed in and let go of a deep down sigh of relief on breath. Drop the arms, think into your tailbone, and let that replace itself. Let the sacrum and the pelvis come back into the chair as you come up your spine, vertebra by vertebra, slowly letting the breath come in and out as it wants to. You might come up just to your head, drop to your chest. If you feel a little dizzy, just take a moment here to get your balance. Sometimes folding over those thigh creases can cut off the blood circulation a bit, so just taking a moment here. And then think into your neck spine and float your neck spine back and up until it's just in alignment with the rest of your spine. You can keep your arms there or let them come back onto your thighs, softening your belly. Let your attention now go back to your middle, picturing that pool of sound vibration pre-existing in your middle. Letting the next outgoing breath turn to sound. Ha. Ha. Ha 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 ha. Let your arms drop back to the sides if they're not already, and start to drop down your spine, double bubbles dropping you down. Ha ha. Ha ha. It'll bring you a bit forward in the chair as well. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. And as you hang from your tailbone, feed in a deep down sigh that turns to a wave of vibrational relief. Ha. One more time. Ha. And let double bubbles bring you back up your spine. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. Coming all the way up. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha ha. New breath, new thought. Ha ha. Ha ha. And now feeding in a deep down sigh and letting a fountain of vibrational relief come up through your legs, up through your torso, all the way up through your skull, bringing your arms up to stretch above you. Let your arms drop. And as you feed in the next sigh, deep down sigh, a fountain of vibration releases out, and you shake it out through your body. And then a deep down sigh from your middle comes out and like a river of sound just flies out through one of your arms. And down through the other arm. And out through one of your legs. Might have to sit back in your chair a bit. And through the other leg. Ha ha. Bring your hands to your belly. Feed into that fountain of relief on vibration, and let your hands loosen the vibrations from your middle. Bring your hands across your chest and thump the sound from your rib cage. Bring your hands now to your face and sigh a hum directly to your lips. And with your hands really feeling the bones of your skull, feel how the hum coming to your lips is picked up by all the bones of your skull. And maybe you bring in that loving caress, that loving encouragement in the face, to that pet, to encourage more vibrations to come to life here. Picturing that hum plum, that humming space in your mouth. And now your hands come back to your middle. You'll jiggle at the belly to loosen. Draw the vibrations up through your torso and ribs. Gather on a hum. Feel the vibrations in your skull. And then when you choose to, release the hum into your cupped hands. Feel the vibrations pouring into your hands. And then send the vibrations out in front of you. So if you can see your computer screen, you're sending vibrations to me, and I'm sending vibrations to you. Hands back to the belly, and really tracking this traffic pattern from belly to lips and then out. Gathering all of that resonance on the hum. There's no need to augment with volume. There's no need to push. Hum, ah. Hum, ah. And now speak that thought. Ha-hum, ah. Ha-hum, ma. Take your pinkies, if you're comfortable with it, and stretch the corners of your lips out and release. Again, stretch out and release. One more time, stretch out to the side, other side, and release. And now blow through your lips. Again. Now imagine that your breath and your vibrations are like a can of spray paint. And I'd like you to now write your name in the airspace in front of you, like if you remember in kindergarten or first grade when we were learning how to write, and we had the paper with the 3 lines, right? And there was the dotted line in the middle. So I'm going to write my first name in cursive, if we know cursive, on that imaginary paper. And as I go up on the line, my head and neck go up, and as I go down on the line, my head and neck go down. And it's quite a big piece of paper here, so there's going to be quite a bit of movement in the head and neck. And let's do it first just on breath. So it would look something like this. When I have to dot the I. So try that now on breath. As many breaths as you need. Now we're going to do that on vibrations. And as you go up on the line, your head and neck go up, and you go up in pitch. And as you go down on the line, your head and neck go down, and you go down in pitch. And if your name's maybe only 3 letters, maybe you want to do it twice. Or if it's 4 letters, you can do it twice. It's up to you. So here we go. Okay, for those of you with long names, you might still be finishing up, but notice now how your lips feel. Probably looser. A bit looser or a lot looser. And so now with those loose lips, one more time, sigh a hum to your lips and see if you feel more resonance because we've loosened up those lips. Now take that hum and you're going to slowly and loosely roll that hum around your neck. And because we haven't done a lot of neck stretches, we're going to do it very slowly and mindfully. And the other way, I'll give you a pitch with my voice. And you can start with your head already dropped to your chest, or you can start with your head up and then drop your head to your chest. It's up to you. Going the other way, the other direction. Other way. changing directions each time. Maybe your head and neck feel loose enough that you can do 2 rotations in one breath. Other direction. Paying attention to those resonant vibrations just rolling around in your head and neck, perhaps imagining that your head is like a coffee can and your vibrations are the coffee beans rolling around that tin of coffee. A good image for this time in the morning. Maybe you can do 3 in 1. Other way. And come up your neck, sigh, hum to your lips, and then feel those vibrations in your skull, and as your lips part, draw those vibrations out in all directions, 3-dimensionality. Ha. Ha. And feeling that touch of sound, going back to that touch of sound, seeing if it feels different than it did before. Ha. With the awareness you now have of the resonance in your skull. Ha. And now speak the word I, like the pronoun, and let it have the same vibrational feeling as that touch of sound. I. Go back to that touch of sound. Ha. And then let it become I. Ha-hum. And now let that thought turn to I am. Ha-hum-ma. And now let that become I am me. And as you say that again, check in with yourself right now. Check in with where you're at, who you are. I am me. Okay, that's our warm-up for today. I hope you enjoyed doing the warm-up in the chair, and there's certainly even more that we can do in the chair, and later on this week perhaps we'll come back to the chair and we'll add some of those exercises in. But just know that if you're stuck sitting at a chair, at a computer screen all day, you can absolutely check in with these things, with your spine. You can check in with the levity and the air in your vertebrae. You can drop down through your spine. You can bring your arms up into a stretch. You can do all of these things in a chair. So I offer those things to you as I begin my week now on my couch in front of my computer. So I hope you all have a great week, and I will see you tomorrow. Same bat time, same bat channel.